Good morning, guys. Today is 30th of April, the final day of the month. Today is Friday, and we have taken the positions. We are sitting on a 14,750 straddle. So we have realized close to 8 points of decays. Option premiums are varying quite drastically, quite drastically. So the plan is once this 14,810 level gets breached, then we'll be shifting half of our calls to 14,800 calls, and then we'll be shifting half of our puts to 14,800. So I'll be explaining the adjustments as and when required. And on the Bank Nifty account, we are sitting on a 33,000 straddle, which is a round number, and the stop loss orders have been kept on both the sides. Alright guys, the time is 9:45. We had to make multiple adjustments. पहले हमने क्या किए? We were sitting on a 14,750 straddle. Then we slowly switched to 14,800 straddle, and then we switched to 14,850 straddle. As a straddle itself, it has given an immense decay, but just because of the delta moves and adjustments, we haven't realized any of the decay. The straddle itself has given almost 20 points decay. When I entered, we entered at 188 and 185, which is almost 370 rupees, to the north of 370 rupees. But now the straddle is worth somewhere around 350 something. So it has definitely given more than 20 points decay. The straddle has lost 20 points in its value. But since we were adjusting, and because of the delta moves and because of the call side IV spike and whatnot, so we haven't collected any decay whatsoever. And on the Bank Nifty account, of course, like we have come out of the positions, it was giving almost 5k 6k of profits, but once the Bank Nifty started shooting up, so we had to give up like 50% of the profits. But we thought that there is a scope for Bank Nifty to shoot up even higher, so we just came out of the positions. And currently in the Nifty account, we are pretty much cost to cost. So we had gone to above 10k also, but because of the adjustments, because of the slippages, yeah. All right. Though I'm not feeling quite good to trade today, but I've taken re-entry on 14,800 straddle, and we have taken re-entry on a 33,200 straddle in Bank Nifty. So the idea is, if Nifty breaks the day's high, we'll be coming out of this straddle. And if Bank Nifty breaks the day's high, then also we're going to be coming out of this straddle. We'll be collecting whatever the decay that it will give. This new straddle has given kind of around 10 points of decay. Since I didn't have a good night's sleep last night, so I'm not at my optimum. I'm not at my best right now, so I'm a bit grumpy and all that. So I don't feel like trading. I feel like I'll be making a lot of mistakes today, so there won't be any further adjustments. It's either sitting on this 14,800 straddle or coming out of it. That's it, like nothing else. So since I'm not very agile today, and since I'm not at my best, I've kept the stop loss on both the sides. So even if any of the stop loss gets hit also, they'll just call it a day at that point of time. So I've collected close to around 12 points of decay. So another 10 points also I'm going to come out. So another 10 points should take us to around 30k MTM. So if that also happens, so I'm going to come out. Suddenly there was a strong down move. Of course, it looks like a rejection, but we can't say until the candle is completely formed. So we pulled out ourselves of the entire position, and we made around 2.8k in the Bank Nifty account and around 19.5k in Nifty account. So 22k for the day. And yeah, yesterday I didn't make a video because I was not in the right state of mind. So I took a 4% loss again. So shit happens. So because of the yesterday's loss, my April is pretty much break even. So whatever profits I made for the last 15 sessions or something, so they got eaten up in just 2 days of loss. Actually, last expiry and before that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a separate plan for expiry days, because the gamma moves I'm not able to manage the gamma moves. I should not blame the market, but I particularly am not able to manage the gamma moves. The yesterday's loss actually exposed a lot of loss in my trading execution style, and I've already started to make amends here. So what was that, and what was the trading execution style, and what were those mistakes? I'm going to make a separate video on that. But right from today, I've started to make amends on those execution styles, and also I've understood that usually I'm a range player, right? Like most of the times, like I adjust my positions based on the range. But on the days like Thursdays, especially if we have moves like these kinds of moves, definitely it'll catch us off guard. And usually I'm pretty much loaded on Thursdays, so my position sizing is pretty much thrice as much as my normal position sizing. So with that, yes, it becomes a bit difficult for us to manage, especially on the days like this. So for the last 7 expiries, all the expiries have been extremely brutal. So all the expiries have been extremely brutal, and I think that will be the nature of expiries from now onwards. So we'll be looking for some scalping kind of setup or some directional setup on the expiries, but nonetheless, with the expiries coming, see, usually I will follow the Bank Nifty method. See, what I do on the Bank Nifty account is I take the next week's options. I don't usually trade in that expiry options. I trade in the next week's options to have a proper range. So we should stop actually trading expiry like a different day. Maybe Wednesday's DK, yes, fine, but expiry it's getting a bit uncomfortable for me to trade those gamma moves and trade those premium fluctuations and trade those slippages. There is no point in taking so much of stress to at the end of the day to collect some bare minimum 5 or 6 points, or even let's say collect maybe 10 or 20 points for that matter. Instead, we can have a hedge of this week's expiry and then trade with the next week's options, which will give us a good amount of range, and even there will be less of a headache. So that's what I'm going to be doing. All right. This I took a 14,700 and 14,850 strangle just because I was getting a good pricing on it. I was getting a decently good pricing on it, and looks like I entered at the exact high point, and already it has given a good amount of decay. So what I'll be doing is I'll be coming out of this position, and yes, we came out of the position. So okay, 26k in Nifty account. The funds used were somewhere around 18 lakhs or something, and on the Bank Nifty account it is around 2.7k. So 28k, 29k for the day. So I think this will be the end of my trading day, guys. So I think we have collected like pretty much like whatever that needs to be collected. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Chill करो. अगर losses हुआ है इस week पे losses हुआ है तो दिल पे मत लो, because as long as you don't blow up your account and stay in the markets will eventually reward you, and I believe this 100%. ऐसा नहीं कि आपके पास आपका कैपिटल 5 लाख है और एक ही दिन में आप 2.5 लाख और 3 लाख रुपए गवा दिए, and you don't even have capital to trade the next day, or you are undercapitalized to trade the next day, then it's actually stupid. But as long as you're taking small losses here and there, that should actually expose a lot of minor mistakes. I'm not saying, see, if you have spent a good amount of time in the markets, yes, you know markets to a certain extent, but at the same time, there is a lot of scope to improvements, right? इधर उधर छोटा छोटा गलतियां रहते हैं, इधर उधर छोटा छोटा फ्लॉज रहते हैं. हो सकता है आपका ट्रेडिंग स्टाइल में हो, आपका एग्जीक्यूशन स्टाइल में हो, या आपका टेम्परामेंट में हो, या आपका साइकोलॉजी को हैंडल करने की तरीके में हो, right? So with all the small losses, you should use those opportunities to expose yourself, to expose your mistakes, and come back stronger. So that's what I'm going to do in this weekend. So I have a few pointers that I've noted down. So कौन सा weak area है, like we'll work on that and we'll come back stronger. And yeah, see you guys on Monday.